Today we have the Sun conjunct Saturn in Aries, and this is really a day where your identity is meeting responsibility because Aries wants you to begin, and Saturn is like, well, are you ready to lead yourself with discipline? So it's very much an Emperor archetype. I'm going to go ahead and read to you the Emperor in this deck. It also is symbolized by the pelican. But Neptune dissolves the ego where Saturn crystallizes it into form. So it almost feels like there's a new parallel version of self that you're crystallizing into after having had to surrender to that flow. There is like a new you that's emerging. I'm kind of seeing it as something that goes underneath the ocean and it comes up reformed. I'm seeing like you've become reformed. So we're going to go ahead and look up that keyword because I feel like this is the keyword. I'm hearing you've been reformed, and that's leading to reformation. So that's things that you're forming, that's things that I'm hearing executing as well. But the archetype is a sovereign leader. So there's a new way in which you're leading yourself through this existence. Is the one that stops waiting for permission, and so they become their authority in their own life. So let's go ahead and read the pelican. I've got the short synopsis for it here. So the Emperor and the Pelican shows control, focused growth, influential, and structure. Something that you're doing could be highly influential as well. The Emperor and the Pelican thrive on structure and control. The Pelican grants access to the spirit plane, but only to the souls who have done the work to get there. If this card comes up, it's a sign of power and focused growth. If you find yourself in a state of power, be sure to maintain your softness. Very interesting. So this gives access to the spirit plane. Now the spirit plane in this deck is depicted by the Chariot. So this is some kind of influence that you have when it comes to the Chariot. And also, I kind of see it as a plane in which you've gained access to as well. So the spirit plane talks about the Chariot blazes through the spirit plane and asks us to appreciate our accomplishments. So it talks about willpower, being self-assured, and having confidence moving forward. And it talks about being rejuvenated. It may be still raining and you may be a long way from home, but this card appears suggesting that you have some sense of self-assurance that has gotten you to this point. This dove will guide you to where you need to be. Have confidence that the direction that you're moving in is the right one for now. Okay, so this is very interesting. It's a level of embodiment, embodied power, and embodied decisive action that you're taking as well. I keep hearing the word streamline. What was the word? There was like a keyword. Oh, I can't remember it. What was the keyword? I said something around. Anyway, you may want to look up that one. I don't remember it right now. Maybe it will come back around. I'm seeing there's something that you're executing with precision. Let's go ahead and get a Cosmos Oracle message around this too. It's like no longer about potential, but instead it's about stepping forward and becoming the authority figure of your own life and becoming the version of self that's actually strong enough to hold it. Because the Emperor is, you excelling in your career or other life ambitions that you have, like really being able to see that come into the physical realm. And it's a Mars card, and Mars is about your drive, ambition, your passion, your motivation, the things that you're physically applying yourself to. So energy, right? Energy makes so much sense. And then what else do we have? Solar corona. Wow. So this could have been actually something that happened because of the eclipses. There could be something that you reflected or refocused or reviewed or revised about your life. I'm hearing that went through a revision. Oh, that reminds me of the keyword. It was something to do with that. Okay, anyway. This says energy and solar corona. Energy is energy that's being transformed. Okay, I'm hearing no longer displaced or misplaced. It's extremely intentionally directed during this time. Let's go ahead and read this. Where is my book? Here it is. We're ready on the ease. So, energy says, shadow to the light from the eclipse. Everything which exists in energy is in different forms. Nothing can escape from it. It's neither created nor destroyed, it only transforms itself. This is you. I'm hearing there's something that the eclipse has done to you, and something in which you've kind of done to the eclipse energy, which is super interesting as well. It feels like there's something in which you have intentionally seeded into your experience throughout the eclipse season, and that's going to blossom in very, I'm hearing radical ways with the radical shifts. Because Mars, when you put like Mars with a seed and that being on the eclipses, that's like accelerated growth that's happening. So energy also talks about it's the capacity of matter to produce work by means of movement and light. It's also the capacity and strength to physically or mentally stimulate any type of thing or situation. This is an excellent card for the activation of something such as a project or anything work related. It's a beautiful omen full of strength. If we're facing a conflict, we should review the energy that we put into it or transform it. So Mars is also severing ties, but it's also something that can really become a source of motivation for you. That's also how I'm seeing it. And it is our largest center of primordial life force too. So I'm seeing there's almost like energy in which you've been holding and containing. I'm seeing you've been the container actually for that energy or for that intention. And that's also being dispersed through the physical realm because of how you're applying your organism in alignment with the higher universal rhythm. That's definitely what it feels like as well, because Mars is the physical body. Okay, so all forms of energy can be transformed through the correct processes. In the information process, we can lose or gain a form of energy, but the total amount will stay consistent. Interesting. So there's something that's being like fed back into the system where nothing is lost. There are only different experiences to gain. Okay, that's what it feels like. Let's go ahead and take a look at solar corona too. So this is the light that comes in thanks to an eclipse. It could be information which you've received, also something in which you're seeing that you're now seeing play out in your life because of the eclipses. Solar corona and light revelation. The light that we can appreciate thanks to an eclipse. Learning that comes forth through a difficult time. This could have been during the new moon in Aquarius eclipse that happened, because that eclipse was actually aspecting Mars as well. And as Mars continues to make aspects, we're going to see that continue to actually play out in our life. So learning that comes forth during a difficult time, allowing for understanding and transformation. It's the rainbow in the storm, the liberation of the ego, and the appreciation of pure beauty that can be seen through witnessing an eclipse. Paradoxically, the best time to see and appreciate a solar corona is the moment of reflection during a dark storm. The perfect circular light that the sun does not allow seeing in a day with no eclipse. It's hidden and can only be revealed before our eyes thanks to the eclipse. Yeah, so this is something that it feels like got shaken up, but beneath that, there's something that's become very evidently clear for you as well. It's like it's also paradoxically created the very foundation for you moving forward. Let's go ahead and take a look at a gateway of the light activation for this too. So very Emperor energy, the sword of light. So we did speak about Mars being something that severs ties, right? And this is Saint Michael. And what's interesting is that is the root chakra. So the root chakra with Michael is also cutting, binding thought forms. So divine protection, cut cords, breakthrough energy. Okay, so this is very much the breakthrough. This is the moment where the seed breaks through. And there was another message that was coming through where you experience that level of resistance when you're on the verge of a breakthrough, and it's like you've already experienced that level of resistance, and now what you're experiencing is the breaking through into a new atmosphere, is breaking through into that parallel octave of self. That's definitely what it seems like, and that's the very streamline. And then you have the Merkaba energy, which is turning your attention away from the material plane and more towards the immaterial, remembering yourself as the timeless consciousness that's navigating the construct, utilizing this temporal dimensionally limited avatar, okay, and being able to see really that moment of destabilization through the lens of the soul, because it becomes a great reason for your transformation. Right, let's go ahead and read Sword of Light in the Gateway of the Light activation. So Sword of Light talks about the Sword of Light is to maintain the energetic tool for Archangel Michael the Prince of Heaven. And the interesting thing is, Michael in the Royal Watchers, he's the angel of the East, which is literally about where the sun rises and new beginnings. And he also represents the root chakra, which is feeling safe within those new beginnings. That's the way that I'm seeing it for the collective theme. And he can also represent, 𝓪𝓵𝓻𝓪𝓷𝓚 is the fixed star, which is actually a lucky star. And he does grant you great success. And, he's a star also reflected with the material plane. But that comes with cutting away the false illusions. Okay, it's like that reward comes with, it feels like, the perspective of ultimate truth. So he who is like God, and he's considered Source's right-hand man. He is the archangel who is chosen to guide and protect all life. Anyone who is feeling called to make a difference on this planet can be guided and supported by him. I use Archangel Michael or 𝓪𝓵𝓻𝓪 in a lot of Royal Watchers readings, and I often say that he plays the role of matchmaker, and that could be, especially if he's seated by like a vertex position or something like that, because he comes in and he literally escorts in fated meetings, fated epiphanies that can also happen. Maybe it's like information that's supposed to cross your path in some way. So he is an archangel who's chosen to guide and protect all light workers. He's here to make a difference on the planet. The sword of light has been pictured as both a spear of light and a lightning bolt. Either way, it's a powerful symbol of truth and spiritual power. Even though it's carried by Michael, it can be invoked by those working with light to help them move beyond blockages and limitations to sever cords of fear. When this card comes to you, know that it's confirmation that you're walking the path of light and responding to pre-incarnation soul contracts to make a difference on the planet. It also is a sign that you have the opportunity to sever connections to fears or limitations. Energetic cords bind us to situations, loved ones, or even the past. But you're in a transition now and detaching from unnecessary connections, dramas, and fears. Note that there will be a great severing at this time, and you may feel isolated for a moment as you'll be reconfiguring your circle of trust and moving into a life that is greater in alignment with your highest good. Know that the cords that bind you to loved ones and soul family will remain intact. It's only the lower vibrational connections that are being severed. Expect breakthroughs and doors of opportunity opening for you. If you feel strongly connected to Archangel Michael, know that his energy is with you now. So this could be an angel or, dimensional, interdimensional guide in a very specific field that you've been able to work with. Again, that's an expression, an extension of source. So that's super interesting. And it's interesting because you have the lightning bolt energy. So again, energy being transformed, and you being the energy that has transformed itself. I'm hearing unrecognizable, beyond measure. And it's because your reference point never stays the same. It's like your point of reference keeps on shifting. Okay. I'm also seeing for what has attributed towards your growth, that reference point keeps on shifting for you. And it's when you zoom out, it was never a micro circumstance. It was the whole macro lens. It was everything that has led to you coming back into this remembrance. Okay, let's go ahead and get a closing out message because I want this one to be short and sweet. There we go. Let's take a look at an octave in which you can work with. We have toxic thoughts, okay? Toxic thoughts with a shaman's dream oracle message. Let's take a look what the theme is. Eye of the Eagle. Eye of the Eagle, I love this one, right? Because Eye of the Eagle literally talks about becoming the eagle who soars in such altitudes that the crows that kind of peck at it on the ground can actually not withstand the heights in which it roams. So this is about your perspective. And you can see he's looking through a looking glass as well. Let me go ahead and read this first and foremost, and then we'll take a look at, this is almost like zooming out from your own thoughts or thoughts that are not super conducive or even productive. Toxic thoughts. There are two realities. the one that is out there, and the one that we create within our minds. To see reality as it actually is means letting go of the story we generate about it, and those stories are often filled with pain and fear. When you're in the grip of fearful thinking, stop. Come back to the present moment. Take away all the words buzzing around in your head and realize where you're creating a fearful future. Is there anything wrong right now? Can mental and emotional suffering exist if you remove the words? Very interesting. So this is actually a strange being who feeds on people's nightmares, fears, and gives them form. So this feels like reinforced thought forms in which you're actually transforming. Let's go ahead and take a look at the shaman's dream oracle message too, because this is almost like zooming out from your own thoughts and observing the one that is reinforcing the thoughts. 18. So this could be, being scared, but acting even in the presence of that fear and not waiting for the absence of it. Protection, inherent trust, rising above the fray. This is rising above the fray within your own mind. I'm hearing also mental clutter. The eyes of the eagle offers you the gift of foresight, the skill of looking ahead to see the unfolding of the destiny before it all manifests into reality. The eagle's extraordinary vision allows it to spot the tiny mouse from its lofty perspective. As it flies thousands of feet into the atmosphere in a similar fashion, you too can train your keen eye to discern the workings of humans. So this is almost the workings also of the human mind and the human emotional state. Eyes of the eagle is an invitation to witness the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, yet react to nothing. Act only to further your noblest callings. The eagle flies above all the creatures. When it meets obstacles, it simply rises above them. Know that you are protected and you can fly high above judgment, slings, and arrows, and the darts of envy from others who may not have your great wings and are still arguing with the pigeons over the crumbs. Trust that you are ready for whatever fortune has placed before you, even if you feel not yet properly equipped to meet the challenges. Your willingness to say yes to spirit and has nothing to do with how well outfitted you are. Hesitating, on the other hand, will suck the air from under your wings and make you lose altitude. You're called now to trust your heart and your instincts, to move fearlessly and not waver. The time is right, and no harm can come your way if your motivations are pure and you act courageously. So there's something around action, and again, the way that you're applying yourself and not allowing the things that used to hold you back to continue being a factor in your life, and actually using that as a level of like momentum. For example, it reminds you of when you're swimming underwater and you prepare to kick up off of the wall, and you actually utilize those circumstances to further accelerate along your path. This is about the alchemization of thoughts. The first thing that you can do is actually begin to observe them. And then when you observe them, you can instantaneously neutralize them by accepting that they're there. And then you can also change your relationship with that. And then you also have be the light at the base. So your awareness of the thoughts is the very thing that allows them to lose their power. And you can create a new charge. You can create a new conducive environment within your own. I'm seeing it as like mind palace. And when you cultivate that mastery of your own mind, you also cultivate mastery in your relationship with the physical material realm, especially with the way that you're thinking about yourself, the relationship that you have with yourself, and also the things in which you're doing here on this planet. That's the way that I'm seeing it. And because of that, you'll become more empowered by it instead of feeling like it's something that overpowers you. So I'm going to love any of you right there. And if you're already subscribed to the channel and you've come across this message and it's materialized into your reality and you've called it forth, do consider subscribing because we'd love to have you around. Personal reading details are also down below. There will be a waiting list, but you can inquire by email. And also check out Altar Spirit if you're looking for some high quality AA grade jewelry. I have the Emperor Stone actually on today, which is super beautiful. I have citrine and also Rainbow Moonstone, which is about creating miracles every day. And until next time, bye.